everybody, and welcome back to the Amazon EU Masters. X7 have given themselves one last shot at exiting Group B in first place. But before that, they need to take down Karmine Corp one more time. Karmine Corp obviously did defeat them earlier on in the day. But that last game versus Team Phantasma, I think, you know, as much as it was an amazing game, it was a very hyped game to watch, I think it also has raised a couple of question marks about, you know, potentially the early game of X7. And,
yeah.
you know...
There's like a few reoccurring whoopsies, and again, they uncharacteristically, come from Haru as well, where he chooses to take fights when it's not the timing, where it's not the place, where he doesn't have the exact resources that he needs. We saw that this happened back-to-back versus Team Phantasma again. That top lane Tribush is actually hunting Haru, because this is where the entire early game went wrong in both games. And obviously, when you have teams like KC looking at this, you see a bunch of exploitable mistakes that could bring them the victory. It brought them the victory earlier on today when they took X7 down, and they can do this again. And especially when you have like somebody like 113 that can really easily capitalize onto these mistakes, which is that aggressive, then yeah, I agree with you. The questionable decisions become really big question marks, and X7 need to show a very dominant showing, especially after this game. Of course, I'm not gonna brush off the performance from Team Phantasma either. I think it was the best performance that they had showed in this Amazon European Masters, and at least, even in loss, they go out with a bang.
Yes, I mean, they have had an amazing day. I was a bit worried that, you know, they kind of would have accepted that today was probably not going to be a great day for them and would see them kind of just roll over. But this version of Team Phantasma looked so much better than the week 1 version. And part of me goes, if they found this form in week 1, there was a good chance that this could have been a 4-horse race in this group. Unfortunately, it was kind of only on this final day where they really showed us what they were capable of. And while they didn't win, and while they didn't cause the upset and kind of,
they made it so difficult. They made it so difficult, Heatbrain.
Man, they made that game incredibly hard for the side of X7. Now, obviously, I have said it, and I kind of want to reiterate it again. There are obviously a few question marks from this game. It wasn't clean from X7. Yes, they won. And yes, they showed that team fighting, like you said, this is a team fighting team, and they are absolutely stellar in the team fights. I still have my worries. I still have my concerns that, you know, versus a better team like KC, if you fall behind like you do in this manner early, especially if Nata gets basically taken out of the game, he's not going to get back into the game like he did. You can see the gold
exactly what I was looking for.
Drops.
That's exactly that. Look at the Jaeger's damage, 41,000.2k. Like that is absolutely massive. Every time this guy would dive in the backline vein, that would just disappear like a magic trick. A Gwen that's fed into the late game with 4 items. It was so hard for Team Phantasma to play against. And honestly, I think we've also had our question marks for Jaeger coming from the LLC with a few of his performances. But I think this time, this Amazon European Masters has been absolutely stellar, no matter what he's put on. Weak side, strong side, carry, tank. And it actually shows that if the entirety of X7 play their game, and that's exactly what they did, at least in the latter stages of this particular game, they can come up ahead, because I'm definitely not going to brush off this performance from Team Phantasma, no matter if they're 0-5 or 5-1. I think they played so well that if you take, you know, nameplates off or scores off or whatever you want, it was a very, very close game. And at the end of the day, X7 outplayed the team fights.
Yes, they really did. It was a phenomenal game from the side of Team Phantasma. And, you know, like I said, a couple of worries for X7 going into this next game, because our next game is to decide first in Group B. That is going to be X7 taking on Karmine Corp. This game is everything to play for. Both of these teams have now got one victory over each other. X7 absolutely stomped KC in their first matchup in week 1. And then in this second matchup today, KC did find the victory over X7. I wouldn't say it was one-sided, but it was definitely Karmine Corp controlled.
Absolutely, and I don't think it was one-sided at all. There were a bunch of mistakes from both teams. I feel like 113 found it really difficult to find his footing, specifically in this game. He tried to make a few of these aggressive plays, that number 3 step that we always talk about with 113. It wasn't very successful. He wasn't successful when he played against Haru in the first game that these two guys played. So I think it was like a few uncharacteristic mistakes, but if you're a really good team and you know how to capitalize on them, and that's exactly what Casey is, then you seal the deal. And they managed to pull this from 0 kills in the first game versus X7 to actually taking them down was a huge step towards victory for Karmine Corp. And of course, this has ended up being a best of 3. Both teams have one win versus each other, and this last game is going to determine which one takes it all and grabs first seed.
I think when we look towards Champ Select as well, I'm curious to see what the adaptation will be from the side of X7, because, you know, it is, even though it's like a best of with a little break in between where they both play someone else, they have played versus each other today. Karmine Corp won versus X7, and the big thing about that was it was Cabochard. It was the Gnar was absolutely just insane from him. So I feel like a potential ban towards that Gnar pick for Cabochard could be a big moment for X7. We actually seen the Renata get first ban from a KC. Interesting to me because I think it's mostly been blue side teams that actually seem to be banning this Renata, but KC seem to ban it. Sorry, red side teams will ban it, but KC banning it on the blue side now.
So I was about to say, I kept rumbling about Tryndamere on the KC vs X7 today because I didn't see that it was banned. Cabochard loves playing 2 champions, and this is Graves top lane and Gnar top lane, and they both can get run down by Tryndamere. So I really like how clever the Tryndamere ban is right here, because they completely take it away from Jaeger. Jaeger comes with a history of a pentakill on the NLC with a Tryndamere as well. He's had a stellar performance on the Tryndamere in this Amazon European Master as well, so you definitely don't want it in his hands. Another question is, do you ban Xayah away? Because Rekkles has played a bunch of Xayah, and it has been a problem, and it was a problem. When Tempt played his LeBlanc, they could not catch Rekkles' Xayah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they insta-lock it right here.
Yeah, there is still the Jinx open as well, so we did see Nata, even though it was a rough start, did have a really good performance towards the end of that final game versus Team Phantasma a moment ago on that particular champion. We'll see what they're going to look to try and put the priority on as their first pick, because, you know, like you said, the Xayah is open. Obviously, the Gnar is open. You're not probably blind picking the Gnar just because there are still things that can handle it, like the Aurelia, like the GP. But Nata maybe going back to what they played in game number 1 versus KC, this misfortune. And we saw Rekkles pull out versus Gamer Legion and have a crushing game. But X7 actually just mimicking what they played in the first
running it back.
game.
We're running it back. That's the exact draft that was run by Karmine Corp, and right there it was SAKEN's Ahri that was locked in, so Tempt could also choose to go with the LeBlanc. Now, why I don't think this is a bad idea from any team is because KC know exactly how they won with this composition versus X7, and X7 know exactly what they did wrong to lose versus Karmine Corp. So even if you run it back, all that needs to change is the execution from X7, and for KC you do the same thing with less mistakes. So I'm pretty sure that maybe we either see the Gnar banned out, or I think there needed to be a better counter pick into it rather than the Akali, something that can really challenge him rather than scale together with him. Because if you allow Cabochard to scale with whatever champion into the late game, he's just going to run you over.
That's the one adaptation I wanted to see, the Gnar ban. Potentially a Graves ban as well would be nice versus Cabochard as well if they want to look towards that. But yes, there is the GP. There are still plenty of top laners open and available in this game. The Ornn going to get banned away here by Cabo. And I think last time it was another tank for Jaeger they banned away. Although we did see a phenomenal performance on the Gwen from Jaeger. So maybe they leave counterpick and see if the Gwen is pickable.
It was SAKEN, if I'm not wrong. They banned both the Ornn and the Sion.
Yes, you're correct.
But right here, I'm not sure if it makes sense, because I'm pretty sure they're going to pick for Kasing again. On the 4th pick, and then leave counter pick for Jaeger, because again, if you're playing against Cabochard, I think it's really worth it to try and counter pick whatever Cabo wants to play towards the top side of the map. So right here we might even see, I was about to say maybe a Rakan ban towards Kasing, but the Aurelia is going to be it. Now I'm thinking that Cabo still has his Gangplank up and available, and X7 are running an immobile AD carry in the likes of Misfortune. So once you put down that kind of barrage, it could be very problematic. Again, Kasing most likely going to lock in the Rakan, and X7 are going for the pure repeat.
Looks like they are looking just for a complete replication on that previous game.
I do not think it's going to be the Akali though here, Heatbrain. I don't think it worked in the first game.
Although, you know, the Gnar is banned, so we'll see what they decide to go for. But I feel like the top lane is where we're going to see some adaptation. They could look towards that Gwen again, depending on the top lane matchup. Jaeger does have pick of the litter here, because he will have counter pick in this lane. Curious to see what the answer is going to be from KC. They do have Nautilus again, I guess.
Maybe. So my top picks are like Gangplank possibly and Graves. These are what Cabo really likes to play, especially when you have to blind pick. I think Graves is a very safe one, especially when Tryndamere has been banned away. It does scale very well. It is a very evasive champion, and Cabochard is like extremely proficient on it. So I'm siding with one of the two unless Cabo surprises with something. Oh, there's a surprise.
Wow, the Lucian. Okay.
There's a surprise.
So I was like, oh yeah, things like the Camilla Open and stuff. But Jaeger now gonna have to think a little bit about what he wants to pick up here into this Lucian top lane. Unless they flex the Ahri up. I know, I think it was BDS who's played that. Or by, I can't remember who played it now. Either way, someone has played Ahri top lane, at least domestically. I'm curious to see what X7's response is going to be, and it could just be this engage. We actually kind of talked about this previously with Gamer Legion and SAKEN. They're actually just going to go for an all-out tank, someone who can start these fights, well, follow up on the fights, but also just target people like Rekkles, target people like SAKEN and Cabo. It's going to be a rougher laning phase for Jaeger, absolutely, but he's going to be able to offer a lot with this pick. And X7, this feels like what they drafted versus Karmine Corp at the beginning of the day, just better. It's just like, it's like an improved version of this pick.
So it feels like both teams felt like the entire map felt great, except the top lane. Of course, for Karmine Corp, they could have gone with the Nata, but it got banned away. But for X7, they completely changed how they want to play the game. They're going to put Jaeger on the weak side top onto the Malphite. But then on the other side, if you look towards KC, they're running triple AD champ and only Ahri. So for this Malphite, if you can go full armor and maybe put an Anathema's chain onto the Ahri, it could be very easy itemization towards the Jarvan as well, because you have two tanks. You can split between one person building Anathema's chains and the other one building Frozen Hearts, so you're playing into triple AD as well. So I really like this adaptation for X7. From the sort of Karmine Corp, we've seen this work for them. You just have a different carry up the top side of the map.
This is going to be a very interesting game. I'm so excited to see how like adaptation is going to be big in this, because obviously after this week we're moving into playoffs, and that's when we get into our best of series. That's when it is on teams to show, you know, what they can change going in. And like I said, there's been 2 games between these two playing versus each other, but it still feels a little best of-y. There's you know, some adaptations and what we've learned from earlier versus each other, and we are on to the rift for our tiebreaker. Karmine Corp and X7, both 5-1 in Group B. The winner of this game takes first in this group and dodges a first seed from a different group. As is he actually looking for a cheeky invade here?
Really good spot right
Oh,
there.
Haru! Didn't flash, didn't respect it. Has to flash over the wall.
That is actually super huge, because remember the 3-rule step for 1-1-3. On Xin Zhao versus Jarvan, he starts blue side into full clear top, into invade into the enemy jungle. Now Haru needs to be very respectful. He might even start towards the bot side of the map this time, so he can evade the invade from the side of 1-1-3, but actually 1-1-3 is going to start towards his bot side of the map, and he's going to be spotted because Kasing and Nata actually very cleverly moved in, and they're going to spot where 1-1-3 starts.
Well, they will see him on the ward, well, see the ward and take it out. Interesting as well, a little adaptation. Haru ran Conqueror last time on the Jarvan. He's actually running the first strike this time. See if that changes anything for him. As this bot lane kind of just got gapped, I think is the fairest way to put it. Kasing and Nata were just losing the 2v2. A lot of attention was towards the top side last game. Well, last time they played versus each other. And Nata and Kasing were just kind of losing the 2v2 in this exact matchup last time. So, gonna be interesting to see exactly how they play this matchup out this time around. See, Hantera, no flash available, does have that Hex flash. So, always have to be a little bit aware of him just flashing out of a bush.
Yeah, and X7 have a priority in the bot side of the map as well. They know that Haru is going to get spotted, so Haru, I don't think he's going to try to pull any of his level 2, especially since the bot lane has been pushed. And because he doesn't have his flash available as well, this is going to make it even harder, especially if 1-1-3 mirrors him. So they're going to go for most likely the full clear onto the Jarvan. Xin Zhao is going to mirror on the other side as well. And we're going to have a little bit of a late off early game, if you will. Cabo has priority mid. Tempt was really good into the Ahri matchup onto his LeBlanc in the previous game as well. So we expect to sort of see the same thing. And as you can see, both side of the map has priority for X7. Top side of the map has priority for KC.
Tempt was definitely the shining light for X7 in the previous game. Really, really clean on the LeBlanc into the Ahri matchup. And it is a skill matchup. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see that Tempt, you know, was able to handle this wave and handle this lane. Actually, does currently have a farm lead over SAKEN, although SAKEN is going to be able to catch most of this wave himself. Or KC, like you said, here's the 3 steps from him. Does one camp, does another camp, and then that 3rd step. Potentially look for a dive top side. Tempt does have teleport if they need to.
My worry here is that Cabo doesn't have a lot of mana. Jaeger just got his passive up as well, and if you manage to flash the mag from the Xin Zhao, you can get out. But Tempt, as you mentioned, has the TP. He's going to defend his top lane, and that is actually huge. The Malphite not dying here is pretty big because he had a lot of minions underneath the tower. Now, Tempt can actually stay top lane versus Cabochard, who is low on mana, and try to bully him away, whilst Jaeger will run mid to try and catch that wave. And then they will swap again.
Actually interrupted the back of Cabochard as well. Yeah. Jaeger catches this wave. He's wanting as much free farm as possible. Starting to stack a little bit of armor, not too much. But Jaeger happy to pick up whatever he can. And we'll probably see him actually just hold mid for a while. He's quite happy to catch these waves. He's probably under less poke and less harass versus the Ahri than he is the LeBlanc for the moment. So Tempt quite happy just to shove this wave in, give up his mid farm for a little bit, and then make his way back towards mid in a moment.
Yeah, he's going to make sure that he shoves in that wave as well. And then you see that Jaeger shoved in mid-wave, and now they're going to actually buy some items, and then LeBlanc will be on the map. I want to see what he will come back with. He should have... Oh! Okay, so we're going for boots and ring, which to me means that once Haru has his flash up and available, we might see a lot of skirmishes. It is usually SAKEN that mirrors 113 whenever he wants to invade or play aggressive. But so far, we haven't necessarily seen 113 pull out anything aggressive in this game. They tried for the dive top lane, but it was instantly dissipated by Tempt's teleport. And Tempt diving straight into Hantera and SAKEN. No fun.
Tempt honestly just gives no damns. He is quite happy to jump into a Nautilus Ahri and be confident that he can get the trade off without getting CC'd. It's really, really crisp from Tempt.
Oh, this is rough. This is rough. Jaeger's wave is actually pushing towards Cabochard, but he cannot actually step that far forward. He actually has to wait for the wave to bounce back. And with the way that the minions are, it is going to bounce back, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So he needs to make sure that he stays within experience range, whilst also not getting ganked and not dying, which has worked so far for him. X7 are banking in the dragons again. If you think you have the better team, you usually play a little bit more passive in the early and try to go and scale towards that late game. Now, this is not necessarily the truth right here, because you can actually play the mid game fights. You've got the LeBlanc Jarvan combo. You've got the misfortune that on Eclipse you really hard spike, especially once he puts down that ultimate, and you can pressure people with it and push them out of choke points. So X7 have a bunch of answers and a bunch of ways they can play the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that top lane situation was kind of caused from Tempt not being able to deal with the wave and completely shove it while Cabochard teleported in. Jaeger has to be careful, though. He's actually maybe playing a little bit of bait here. SAKEN's going to jump forward, gets caught by the knockup, gets caught by the charm. Here comes Haru. They're dodging out. They find the first blood onto SAKEN. And this time it's KC who have the advantage. And look at the size of that wave. Jaeger losing out heavily here as Tempt's going to try and catch it. Does have the distortion available. Dodges out on a lot of damage in the charm there, but he's still going to go relatively
low. He's going to get poked down. He doesn't have his W cooldown up, and he has to
he's just dead. 113 is able to find him. They are going to find an answer out here from Haru, but he gets charmed up himself. SAKEN's taking a lot of tower shots. Cabu taking so much damage in response.
Oh my god.
And they're continuing to chase for a little bit more. A good flag and drag could maybe save Haru's life and potentially get him a kill, but he's just going to try and flag away. The Foxfire movement speed from SAKEN not going to get him enough to catch up. And it was a sloppy little fight in the top side.
That is some really good stuff, though, from Karmine Corp. 28 CS onto that Malphite versus 54 onto the Lucian. And even though Jaeger does respect the fact there's a fat wave building up underneath his tower, he doesn't respect the fact that Tempt has actually pinged the SS onto SAKEN, and they have been trying take Jaeger down this entire game. There was no respect towards the Ahri roaming towards the top side of the map. He ends up being punished. And now Tempt is trying to make a play right here, but he instantly gets spotted by SAKEN. Has to use his flash defensively as well, whilst dodging everything. And then Haru is left all alone. underneath the tower. He will grab one kill for himself, but all in all, look at all this experience and gold that completely got lost underneath that tower. The true winners of this trade is Karmine Corp.
I do feel, though, you have a couple of things to kind of keep in mind in this game. Now, this might be a little bit of hopium, let's be real. But X7, you know,
okay.
Jaeger's now level 6.
Hit me, NLC fanboy. Hit me.
Jaeger's now level 6. That's all a Malphite really needs, is just to be able to ult. And the meanwhile, Nata, who was shut out of the last game, is completely okay for the moment. But we're looking for the fight. The the Rift Herald was taken away there by 113. He's able to steal it away. In comes the backup, though. They've got a little bit more damage. Cabo's going low, and Kasing's able to find the kill. X7 are skirmishing, but look at every time they skirmish, they lose a massive wave somewhere else on the map.
Absolutely. I think X7 right now are very objective obsessed, I would have to say. They went for that early Dragon. They're going for that early Herald. They're trying to win back whatever they've lost through that trade on the top side of the map. And yeah, they do punish Cabochard, but he doesn't really lose much because look on the bot side of the map, Rekkles is going to cash in on 2 tower platings whilst the commitment for the Rift Herald was put on the top side of the map. Luckily for them, they managed to actually rotate for X7. They're bot and towards the top side of the map. There was only 1 assist for the side of Nata as well. So I'm waiting to see where this Rift Herald is actually going to go because for me, I think the biggest investment you can do is give it to Tempt, but Jaeger is yet again in trouble. No flash, no ult.
Yeah, he is not that tanky yet, unfortunately. Knocked up, bopped up, taken down. Haru has no flash. Haru has nowhere to go. And another ginormous wave is denied from the side of X7. KC are just playing a complete denial game here.
I think they're actually putting their mark on this game. I think getting Cabochard ahead has always been the play for Karmine Corp. Getting Jaeger on a weak side tank has always been the plan for Karmine Corp. They just did not want him on the orb that scales into the late game and gives the ornaments later on. But Malphite can get heavily punished right here. He's 1,500 gold behind as well. And right here, Jaeger, I think he should have been left for that. That anchor, first of all, should have never hit.
No,
Rito, thank you.
Nautilus stuff there.
And right here, Haru goes back in, knowing that his Malphite is dead to rights. And again, these are sort of like the mistakes that we see that are very uncharacteristic from someone like Haru. That could get heavily punished because this is yet another kill that goes towards the side of K-Corp, whilst Haru could have stayed alive and soaked up all that experience and gold from that huge minion wave that gathered underneath Jaeger's tower.
Jaeger definitely stacking as much armor as possible. Like you were kind of alluding to, SAKEN is the only AP threat right now in this game, so at least for Jaeger, his itemization early should be relatively easy. The question is he going to get enough gold to get that itemization completed? Is X7, while their top lane is a bit of a dumpster fire, their bot lane actually pretty decent. Nata, even though he's down in farm, partly because he did that roam, still able to afford himself a lot of pressure. Now, 113 is going to jump in forwards, looks for the steal, not able to find it, pops himself the ultimate, and this should just be a kill for Nata. Well, there's a lot of sustain coming in. 113! What an outplay! He's able to find a kill. He's looking for the second. The hook's going to come in. They're trying to find a response. They get the knockup as Kasing. Kasing finds the kill, and now Hantera has to be careful. Rekkles is in the area. So X7 are just going to call it here for the moment unless this hook hits. Kasing could be in for a world of hurt. He tries to go for the escape, but he's not going to be able to do so. Rekkles finds the kill.
X7 again, way overextended. Look at the top side of the map. Everything is going wrong for X7, and KC have the number on every single lane. And this is exactly what happens when you run back a composition that you've already lost on. Your opponents will know exactly what you're doing. Karmine Corp know what's happening exactly. This happened at EU Masters 2021 Summer Finals. Fnatic Rising back then run the exact same comp that they lost game 1 versus Karmine Corp, and Karmine Corp beat them in both games because they knew exactly, they deciphered exactly how to do that, and they're doing that again. They're exploiting the mistakes, they're hammering top lane, they put Jaeger on the weak side, they're hammering top lane, they're feeding Cabochard, and they have just not let Jaeger play the game at all.
He has no one as well, he just has to give up. He might be able to kill a minion or two, but that is it. He's just losing gold, he's losing farm, and he's going to lose his tower, plates and all. That is 2 towers with plates over to the side of KC as they get their 11th plate in the mid lane. Look at the gold deficit, 5,000. X7 are just so far behind. And we're seeing some real problems in the early game from X7. This is uncharacteristic of week 1 from them. They are looking to turn onto 1-1-3. Jaeger finds a good two-man ultimate, but there's no damage. There's no backup. There's no follow-up. Tempt's trying to come over the wall. Cabo's able to dodge away a lot of the damage, and Nata now on his lonesome gets himself knocked up, and Nata falls to a double kill. SAKEN continues to chase forward. Tempt able to find himself a cheeky shutdown onto Cabochard, and Jaeger will go down to SAKEN. Tempt's clone is being chased off. Actually, that was the real Tempt. As Hantera able to chase him for the moment, gets the chains not to pop.
That's the wrong side of the map that Tempt is running to, and eventually someone is gonna catch up to them. Hantera is just gonna seal the deal. Tempt is gonna give the kill to the support, but all in all, Karmine Corp are putting down a clinic right here. 2-0 and 2 for SAKEN. 4-2 and 3 for Cabochard. And even though 4-2 and 3 might not sound too impressive, that's like 7 kills, 7 kill participation on that Lucian. And remember, Cabo is one of the main carries together with SAKEN onto that team, and everything's going their way. Now again, Haru sees 1-1-3, engages 1-1-3, but look at that beautiful dodge on the FLICKR drag. The dash onto Jaeger, 1-1-3. He's outplaying the ish out of everyone this game. And even though we had our doubts for how he played in the first game and how he couldn't find his openings, this game, he's on damn fire.
It feels to me a little bit like Haru is playing like he's ahead instead of from behind. As Nata almost goes down there. Those feathers would have been enough probably. Cabo now maybe looking for Tempt. Tempt in for a whole lot of hurt here. Gets himself the chains off. Gets a whole bunch of additional damage in. But that is the root from the Everfrost. And Cabo almost goes down. Tempt finds the kill. SAKEN gets the turnaround. We said in the first time they met, Tempt was the shining light, and Haru's continuing to play like he's ahead. He has no ult on his misfortune. He's on his lonesome. They're going to find the knock-up, and Haru will just lose his life. He's going to fall shortly as Casey's able to find the kill. It's going to be 1-1-3. Nata's next to fall. I am lost at Haru's decision-making this game.
Haru is just going way too deep without having his teammates. Again, your most fed member in this team is Tempt. He managed to pull a 2 versus 1, which means on the other side of the map, you've got 4 members versus 3 in favor of X7. And Haru pulls the trigger yet again, all alone, doesn't wait for all of the members from X7 to get there to actually play the 4 versus 3 and gets instantly punished. Yet again, you see, Karmine Corp know exactly where Haru is. Rekkles is actually hovering around, and Nata and Kasing are stuck underneath the tower. They cannot fight this. You see that Jaeger is there too, but he doesn't have the flash ult to go in. And by that time, SAKEN is down on the side lane, Tip is back in, capitalizes on Nata as well, and X7 end up losing too, whilst they traded a really good kill down in the bot lane with Tempt. And right now, KC are on freaking fire. 8,000 gold in the lead, only 15 minutes in.
I am flabbergasted by Haru at the moment. It's been very questionable decision making. Tempt is your one shining light. He is the one person who can potentially get you into this game. And once again, Haru on the end of punishment. He is going to flag, he is going to drag, and he's going to jump away. But SAKEN's going to continue to chase him forward. Tempt jumps out a little bit, gets the chains off, and they find the knock-up. Tempt can continue to run away. They flag and drag again as they continue to chase forward. But here comes Cabo, able to find the piercing light. Haru dodging away for the moment, but that's going to be the charm coming in. Jaeger's got themselves the bullet time. Nata has to flash on the spot to dodge away. And X7, this was the main criticism of them versus Phantasma. Yes, they were able to come back versus a weaker team, but versus a better team, how are you going to play from behind? And the answer's poorly.
This is so difficult for them. The only signing light is that they have 2 dragons. This is a Hextech Soul that's going to be spawning, so maybe somehow they can sneak in a Soul. Obviously, Karmine Corp are going to pick up the first dragon of the game for themselves and deny Soul point for X7, but this is almost a 10,000 gold lead pre-20 minutes of the game, and Haru has found Rekkles.
Yeah, they have found Rekkles. Nata doesn't have ultimate, but Rekkles does. Haru needs to be careful. He flags away, and that's the shutdown. Gifted over to Tempt. A big injection of gold into that LeBlanc. Very necessary right now.
Oh, absolutely necessary. You see that the gold gap also closed down a little bit, but right now, it's becoming extremely problematic. Look at Lucian's inventory. Look at 113's inventory. 113 learned from the previous game. He bought the Hex Drinker instantly playing into Tempt's LeBlanc. Mortimer's already bought for Cabochard. Death Cap completed for SAKEN, who is absolutely phenomenal on this Ahri. Back-to-back, 600 gold bounty on him, 5-0 and 3. SAKEN today is on fire. Again, the only remaining member from the OG lineup of Karmine Corp that won the back-to-back Amazon European Masters in 2021. He's not a back-to-back champion for no reason.
And again, they gave him the Ahri. They knew he played it in game 1. They knew he played it phenomenally in game 1. But X7 opted into the exact same comp again. And now, with a massive 8,000 gold lead, they're looking for the execution onto 113. They found him with a charm. They found him with a lockup. A big heal comes in. Massive ultimate comes in from Jaeger. Rekkles able to answer back out with a kill himself. Here we go. SAKEN's got the resets, chasing up for more. Finds himself a double kill. And it is a 1 for 2 for X7.
Oh, they're looking for more though.
Oh, that charm was close.
That was a 1 for 2. I think this is the best case scenario you can expect.
Tempt? Yeah, he's okay. They find a lockdown. They got the bullet time. SAKEN's going low! Nata with the shutdown. Tempt is... I'll say it again.
Dead.
Trouble starts with an I, ends with a T.
Is dead. This is a game of, I'll say it in your language, because you're English. This is a game of inches that they're both playing.
Inches?
They're literally both playing on the details. The only problem is, KC can afford to play the game of inches. X7 cannot.
The difference is KC bought a ruler, so they actually know how much an inch is.
Let's watch this again, because the previous game, 113, was literally getting bullied by X7 the entire time. Same thing here.
Oh,
huge gold drinker right there into 4 members to keep him alive for longer. And even though Jaeger's ultimate was absolutely fantastic onto Rekkles, this is what Xayah thrives at, being dived. She presses R, and you don't get no CC and no damage onto her. Rekkles has been absolutely phenomenal on that Xayah dodging things, and Tempt right there just walks into the Nautilus and gets out with a sliver of health. SAKEN gets locked in by Haru, and that bullet time, I think it was like one of the last few ticks.
What? What do you gain if you land that chain, though? Like a little bit of damage. Oh, Rift Arrow, by the way. Chunkin Towers.
It's very late.
It is very late. I mean, still, I'd like to say it's early days in this game, but it's also a 12,000 gold lead to the side of Casey. Oh, she's not that much. I was looking.
I think
my maths is off. It's
where's
like,
your math? Where's your math?
It's bad.
That's an 8,000 gold lead. I know. Close enough though.
I got my primary digits wrong. What can I say? Tempt, don't die. Okay.
Okay, the NLC fanboy is coming out a little bit. Hantera from Nata.
Oh, that was a hook, but a great charm in response. Tempt's able to find 1 kill. Nata remains untouched at the moment as 113 just running interruption. In goes SAKEN. He's found the charm onto the real Tempt, but he didn't see him, so Tempt blinks out to safety. And it is a singular kill for X7.
That was a pretty good trade, actually, right there. You kill off Hantera, you actually get to grab your jungle as well. The game has slowed down because KC are trying to force plays over and over again, and even though that was a beautiful hook that landed from Hantera, I don't think his team was ready to follow up right there. Cabochard was not in position, SAKEN was not in position to follow that up, and Hantera blew up instantly. These are some really good trades. If you're an X7 fan, this is exactly what you want to keep on happening because the gold gap keeps closing down. It is a 7,000 gold lead right now. It was almost a 10k gold lead, and it's been closed down to a 7k gold lead. I think X7 have woken up, but is it too late?
It would be a phenomenal comeback for X7. They did do it last game, but man, did they have to fight tooth and nail for it. And KC, very good at playing from ahead. Dragon spawning up, teleports coming in from Cabochard. Jaeger able to use the Hex Gate to get in, and reset comes in from Tempt. So it looks like they're just going to give this second Dragon over to KC. And I think that's the correct decision. I think X7 just need to get as much gold and as much time on their team as possible. They can afford to give up a couple more Dragons.
This is the luxury of spending time and investing time in the early game to take the first 2 dragons from Haru. The fact that you know that if your game goes south, you have earned yourself plus 10 minutes by having these 2 dragons until it hits soul for the opponent team by taking all 4 back-to-back. Now, the problem is if they do hit all 4 back-to-back, that is a lot of Hextech dragons and a soul, which is going to hurt like a truck going into the late game, especially when the Xayah feathers start hitting, especially when SAKEN jumps onto you, Cabochard onto the Lucian. The bright light for X7 is that KC are composed of a lot of squishy members. And oh my god, Tempt!
Wow! And there's the Hex Drinker popped. That's a full more, actually, as well. So, even more shielding. Yeah, I feel you on that one, 1-3.
So, again, KC are composed of very squishy members. If you look at Hantera, he's even possibly going for the Hourglass first item, which doesn't make him tanky at all versus the LeBlanc. Does not give him any sort of MR. And remember, Tempt is the primary damage dealer from the side of X7. So if he chucks down somebody, if he kills somebody early in the fight, this is where X7 can get their chance to turn fights around. But when Nata gets chucked down that hard, and he needs to back off, they lose a lot of the tempo of like pushing waves and getting into the jungle and trying to look for a pick.
That was a pretty rough trade there. He's going to be able to get the reset off and get ever closer towards that Shroud's Grudge, although it hasn't actually finished up the Last Whisper or that Warhammer. I'm assuming it's going to be that Grudge. Very, very powerful for the Misfortune. As X7 are just trying to get a bit of a foothold in their own jungle again. That's how detrimental this has got. That's how hard it's got. Someone will have to go towards that bot side. Both Jaeger and Tempt do have their teleport, while SAKEN and Cabochard, their teleports are on cooldown. So that's kind of why you're seeing KC group up here in this big death pool, because they can't afford to split up and then have 2 members of X7 TP into a fight.
Kasing,
we might just see Kasing die.
Kasing.
That is a greedy place to reset.
There have been some questionable choices, let's say, but KC have been able to punish all of them. Now, 113 is looking to dive in, and he's actually going to yoink away the red buff from X7. And again, when you lose a member and when you're behind, it becomes so difficult to play the fights.
Hook onto the tank for the moment. They're going to get the bullet time off. It's doing a lot of work. The knockup does come in time, but 113 is able to survive. They chase in. They find the knockup. Nata's going low. Haru is able to jump out of the Cataclysm and actually save the life of his 2 carries.
Oh, look at
Meanwhile,
SAKEN. Look at SAKEN.
Haru is just continuing to chase. It's questionable positioning.
I'm gonna say that KC are playing like absolute maniacs today. Every single one of them, especially I'm gonna put my finger onto SAKEN. He has been incredible. They're looking for 113.
Yeah, they are looking for him, but they don't actually have the damage, and you could see there was a massive split there. As Nata didn't realize they were going for that, and Ignite and Ultimate Burnt by Kasing. That is huge.
All the eggs in KC's basket right now. 10,000 gold lead, 25 minutes in, 9-1 and 4 for SAKEN, 2-1 and 6 for Rekkles, and again Kasing. He gets spotted, and he sees his game spotted. But I think he might have pressed the shop, looking for his next item right there. And again, 113 is going to take the red buff away. And X7 are possibly looking to try and find the fight. Hantera will find another hook. I think onto Jaeger right here. Unfortunately for him, it is the Malphite. But this is your tankiest member, and he instantly melts without even getting the ultimate off on any member.
Yeah, Nata's ultimate achieved nothing as well. The stopwatch and 113's ultimate meant that he just does nothing. And then Haru just playing very greedy, pushing up constantly. Jaeger is stacking a lot of armor now, but he's still quite squishy. And the grudge on both Rekkles and Cabu, they've both got a bit of pen to work with as well. Grudge now finished up on Nata, so fighting in chokeholds is a scary thing, no matter how far ahead you are. 3-item MF, slowing you down with that bullet time in a chokehold can be absolutely horrific, but Jaeger eating an entire culling. and is going very, very low. He's able to speed away to safety, but not before losing his entire health bar. 13 seconds before the dragon spawns.
That is so difficult. I do not think that X7 will be able to walk inside the jungle to try and contest for the third dragon. I think their only chance is to wait for a couple more items onto their members and then try to maybe go to try and steal the soul away, and that might even have to be a steal, not potentially a team fight, but it's just so difficult because you're on the wrong side of the map to try and steal. You're not behind the wall, and then you can flag and drag in and potentially steal the dragon and give your life up for it. You literally have to walk through the entire choke point where KC will be guarding, where they have so much vision on you. It's gonna be so difficult for Haru to steal this one away, and KC are definitely the front runners for this one. KC are putting their stamp down on the whole LFL and NOC rivalry because it was 1-1 so far. They managed to beat X7 today, and from the looks of it, they're looking to do it again.
And remember the last time these two teams played versus each other, X7 were... Well, sorry, the first week they played versus each other, X7 absolutely stomped KC. KC didn't get a single kill. It was horrendous for them.
Back-to-back champions, reformed, studied their opponents, and X7 are trying to pull the same trick over and over again. And if anyone knows how to deal with the same trick, that is KC. 1-1-3 in.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Watch for Nata, though. He needs to get a good ultimate off for the moment. But like you said, as long as Hourglass on Hantera means he's very hard to deal with. Bunch of damage out from Tempt onto him, though. Half health in him. Meanwhile, Cabo just getting free time in topside and able to pick up that tower. This is the problem, is 1-1-3 and Hantera basically mean Nata can't ult. They don't even need to threaten him. Just the stopwatch and 1-1-3's ultimate means that Nata just, there's no point in ulting because he's not going to do any damage.
Exactly. This is what we mentioned from the draft as well, right? Especially when you're running the exact same composition, KC are so good at reading what you've done. We talked to the coach of KC as well, and you asked him what was different. Like, did you read them? Did you study them better? And they're like, yeah, now we know how to play against them. Now we know how to shut them down. And when you're bringing the exact same composition that they've already beat you on, then it's going to be that much easier for KC, and they're showing how much easier it is for them right now. Now KC are threatening the Baron. They have complete control of the topside jungle of Haru.
Nata took a interesting portal win as Rekkles is going to be forced to ult in response to Nata.
That is huge. If X7 can try to find an engage onto Rekkles now that he has no ultimate, this could potentially mean a dead Xayah, and you could potentially try to get a 4 versus 5. Of course, let's not forget that SAKEN is Giga fed, and they've got Kasing.
Oh, once again, it's Kasing being chased down and popped. Cavi's able to find him. Ult out from Jaeger defensively as Tempt blinks back in, trying to find Rekkles. He flashes forwards. Rekkles finds the kill. Nata has to flash away from the charm. And KC, they're just punishing greedy mispositions from X7 time and time again.
Happy B also from Rekkles that they're being able to get away with a sliver of health. Tempt, they're unfortunate, doesn't get to trade one back, and look at Cabochard's position right there. He wants to blow someone up. SAKEN as well is guarding it, and 1-1-3 is tanking the Baron. This is 12k gold lead for Karmine Corp. 5 members into the Baron pit. Jaeger, Haru is there, but they will not let him steal.
Yeah, Nata's knocked up as well. He's looking for Cabo in response, but he can't do so. 1-1-3, gonna eat the bullet time. They're able to find themselves a kill on to the jungler, but Haru is low. Same for Nata. They do have Tempt coming up momentarily, and that kill does buy a brief respite.
That's not even your biggest problem if you're X7. 1 minute, 30 seconds. That is a Hextech soul coming up.
Yeah.
And there's 3 already stacked up in Karmine Corp's inventory. This is going to hurt a lot when it hits. And honestly, the feathers on top of the charms, on top of Cabochard dashing over, it's going to be so difficult for anyone on X7 not to die. X7 need to be resetting, putting down some vision. They need to set up, possibly even give away the Baron, but I don't think Karmine Corp are going to do this. I think the souls are so valuable for them, but they're definitely going to go for that one first. And if X7 overextend and die, this could be game over.
And this is a hard one to check into as well. It's going to make it real hard for the side of X7. Haru having a pretty shoddy game. Kasing as well. He's had a pretty rough one himself, so we need to see what he can be capable of achieving.
Oh, look at Jaeger, though.
It's an amazing flank, but no one's in position. So even if he hits a 4-man ultimate, he just dies. That's the problem is X7 are too scared to step forward. Nice little trade onto 113. SAKEN is going to get ulted. He's going to get popped. Shut down for Jaeger. Big injection of cash into their tank. As Haru has to flag and drag away from Cabochard, who chases him forward, uses himself the culling momentarily. Rekkles doesn't have flash or heal, but does have that ultimate available. And Tempt might be looking for a little trade there, as Dragon will get picked up, and X7 have bought themselves a point where they're now on soul point themselves.
Yep.
That's a much needed pickup.
They have barely bought themselves another 5 minutes until the next dragon spawns again. But mind you, for a team that is 10,000 gold in the lead, 33 minutes in, KC are finding it very difficult to open an inhibitor. You see how difficult it is because you've got 3 extremely squishy members, and even if Xin Zhao or Nautilus dive in, they're so squishy themselves that they're gonna go down instantly. So even though they have like 1 or 2 items on top of their counterparts, it's just so difficult to push without having the barrel, without having the soul. So X7 being able to take that one away is massive.
Collector finished up on Nata off the back of that base, so the ability to actually really sow terror into KC in these chokeholds. This is a scary place for KC to fight, but again, technically the same for X7. A single hook onto Kasing can really spell the end of any pressure in the area. So Kasing needs to play a lot of respect here. Tempt is a little safer, obviously has that blink, and it's just continued to like slowly but surely poke out 113. Look how healthy that tower is. It's barely been scratched by X7.
We are so far into the game, the death timers are going to be so long. If X7 do somehow miraculously manage to find a fight, they could dig really deep into KC's base, and so can KC. If KC find a fight right here, the game could be over. Jaeger's looking from the side. He's a very tanky boy right now, and Tempt. Oh my god!
Oh, Tempt! What?
4 versus 5 is the situation right now. Jaeger is going to tank most of the culling right there, which is going to take him very low. And again, I'm going to say this again. For a team that is 10,000 gold in the lead, K-Corp find it so difficult to push that one down. And again, you see Tempt, level 16 versus level 11. Boom. Tempt is trying to make the difference.
Unbelievable. Tempt is going to have a sore back in a moment. Although we're now seeing Nata's got the stopwatch, and Nata's almost full build.
I was about to say, at this point, 10,000 gold means nothing. But it has been the case for the entire game. But it has been the case for the entire freaking game. Karmine Corp have had a huge gold lead from the early. And due to the comp that X7 have, it's just so difficult to close the gap. Because once you allow Tempt to do that, you can no longer 4 versus 5, especially because of the Malphite and the Jarvan being there.
Level 16.
We get a minute to like, we get a minute to like take a breath.
Take a quick breather. Nata needs to not be the one at the front though. That could be very, very dangerous. Tempt just going to step cheekily forward once again. Get into this bush. Nice vision control here for X7. They have a small pocket that they can play around, and that pocket was how Tempt was able to take out a kill. Just popping Rekkles' Edge of Night, making sure he doesn't have that spell shield, and a good ultimate from Jaeger into Nata could spell a massive opening here. Jaeger's in position for it. Tempt onto Hantera. Misses the E this time. Harry's going to get chunked out pretty low. They're going to get a good ultimate off, and now it's all about Jaeger. Can he find that opportunity? No. Jumping onto Nata, getting the slow off. Nata's burning low. He's going to go down here. The slow might just be his dying breath that saves the day for his team. Nobody else going to go down. Meanwhile, Haru in for a whole world of hurt. He's on the wrong side of the map, making a run for it. As they're going to chase with the Hex Gate. And oh, Haru gets the old escape off. I got a freeze on my screen. I don't know what's going on.
I've got a...
Oh, no. I think... No, Haru lived. A few technical issues here, but it looks like it's over for the moment. Tempt jumps in forward, looking for Rekkles, unable to find it. Nata is dead, remember. They don't have that bullet time. Haru making a hero. He steals the burn. Haru coming up huge for X7. Cap is going to try and make sure at least somebody gets out. Tempt's on the run. He needs to dodge away on everything, but he's slowed by Cabochard. Kasing will lose his life. He gives his life for his mid laner, but Cabu continues to chase forward. Has to ult out to safety. They're about to get everybody back up. Nata's on the rift. And oh my word, X7, they're just about able to hold on. It's going to have to be one hell of a defense from them, though.
I don't know if they can hold on. It's only Tempt and Nata, the two carries from X7. There is still bullet time, so you can actually burst the wave down before he comes anywhere near. And KC are going to back off. This is a crazy game that we're witnessing here, Bryn. I never expected it to be a 10k gold lead for the majority of the game, and KC not being able to close out the game. Tempt is trying to assassinate Hantera again. This time it fails. Really good sidestep from the KC support, and 113 sees the opening to dive straight in. Now you see XM will back off, but Nata will burn away slowly but surely, and once everybody is split up from X7, this is where KC thrive. They've got a Lucian to chase away with, they've got the Ahri to chase members of X7 with, and Nata and Haru. What a beautiful escape right here. Sticks around for the Baron as well, but the best is yet to come for X7 fans, because Haru will dive into the pit. KC yet again do not stop hitting the Baron, and Haru will smite it away at 400 HP.
Jaeger missed ult entirely as well, which is just, you know, take what you want from that one.
If you guys are not entertained from the games today, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I like, how can you not be entertained? Oh, wow. Okay, bye-bye, Tempt's health bar. Nata getting chunked out pretty heavily, but has got the sustain for the moment.
Obviously, while we were talking, the soul went down for KC, so that is so strong. With 4 Hextech Dragons as well, it's going to hurt so much. Hence the bye-bye, Tempt HP bar. And X7 are gonna need to look for a miraculous fight. Items don't matter, gold lead doesn't matter, everything is even right now, anything goes. If Tempt finds a pick, X7 could end the game. If KC find a team fight, they could end the game. It is anyone's game, and I cannot believe I'm saying this right now, because we are 40 minutes in, and it's been a more than 8,000 gold lead for the majority of the game for KC. Tempt keeps looking.
He does keep looking. Tempt is that glimmering hope for this team. Tempt's going to jump in, pop SAKEN's Banshee's Veil. Jaeger, we're yet to see a massive ultimate from them. If they can find that opportunity, it could be big. Tempt onto Cabu, chunks him out heavily here. 113 jumping in forward as well. Has to pop the ultimate. Jaeger, it's now or never. And it looks like it's never, as they're just going to have to give up another inhibitor. The team with Baron are crumbling to KC's pressure right now.
KC have found a way to try and open up this game, because it has been a big struggle due to their comp to close it out. With 3 squishy members getting anywhere near Tempt is so freaking scary. Level 18 LeBlanc. It is so difficult to play anywhere near him. He has been doing fantastic both of these games onto the Ahri, onto the LeBlanc, but also SAKEN onto this Ahri has looked absolutely incredible. He used the W, Tempt has used the W forward. This could be it.
Yeah, that might just be it for Tempt. He's going low, the teleports are coming in, and Tempt will lose his life. Jaeger's in the middle of everyone. He needs to find that ultimate off in time. 113 jumps onto Nata. Nata's untouched. He flashes away. Jaeger able to buy a bit of space for himself. Nata still hasn't had the opportunity to get a good ultimate, but there it is! Able to take down one. They find the knock-up. They're looking for a second one. The hook from Hantera in his dying breath finds himself a cheeky kill in response, but it's a triple kill for Rekkles, and KC find the ace.
Finally, they put the nail on the coffin. They find the thorn on their backs this entire time that has been Tempt. They take him down, and they put any doubt to rest on if KC is the best team in this group or not, because guess what? They damn are.
They are, but I'm going to put an asterisk. It took them 41 minutes of a 10,000 gold lead to close that out. There was a real moment where KC were like, if they hadn't taken more on the map earlier, they wouldn't have had anywhere near the pressure they had there. And X7, a good hold on from them, but they really, as they go towards playoffs, need to look at this early game because that was just messy. Today was a sloppy day from X7.
But we have to celebrate KC showing up big time because we had the first week a lot of doubts for Karmine Corp coming into this European Masters, and then they shut everyone up on the second week, 3-0 on the day, claiming that first seed as well. You definitely do not want to be playing versus LDLC. You definitely want to keep as many LFL teams as possible going forward to the quarters and semis. And K-Corp, third seed from the LFL, no doubts, the back-to-back champions have secured themselves again a first seed.
Yeah, an absolutely phenomenal game coming out from K-Corp, and a really good day from them. They came in honestly looking like a team who would just take second in this group, walking out in first. The big thing about that is now you play a second seed from a different group instead of, X7 who now have to play a first seed. It's going to be a rough playoffs for them, but, both teams, I think, also did show weaknesses in today. X7 definitely, their early game looks very sloppy. Their mid game looks pretty sloppy as well. Amazing team fighting in late game, yes, but, is a team like LDLC going to let you get that late? Is LDLC going to let you go for 41 minutes when they've got a 10 to 12,000 gold lead? Probably not. Karmine Corp as well, definitely a lot of things they need to shore up as they get into the playoffs, but they can be happy with the way they played this out in the final games. I'm so excited to see these teams in actual best of series now, because I think it's going to be fun to see how they adapt when they play versus the other teams they're playing versus. They'll be playing versus new teams as well. That's the big thing. It's going to be a really, really fun playoffs for these two teams, and I can't wait to see them. But this game, obviously very heartbreaking for NLC. We looked like, and we felt like we were going to have a 6-0 day, and ended up dropping one game, and then that one game has just lost X7 the first in the group. But it was still a hell of an exciting game from X7. I mean, their last two games have been crazy.
Absolutely. I think that K-Corp are completely on fire, especially today. They didn't come into play, or actually they came into play really well, if you want to phrase it that way. Again, I have to commend SAKEN. I feel like he played out of his damn mind today. You can say that Ahri is a broken champion. I don't freaking care, but this guy played so well. Him and Cabochard and Rekkles, the big veterans in the team, stepping up to carry Karmine Corp to victory. And of course, we had a few doubts and whoopsies done by 113, but in this particular game, he played so well, tracking Haru, finding the fights, dodging skill shots right, left, and center. Hantera being all over the place, getting these hooks. And at the end, the thing that sealed the deal was actually finding Tempt. The only thorn that you have on your back was Tempt, was that LeBlanc. You couldn't step forward because that LeBlanc was just such a big problem for you with so many squishes in your team. And once they took him out of the picture, Casey was actually able to clean up the fight right there. Again, Cabo, SAKEN, Rekkles, the three remaining members on that last team fight, the ones that sealed the deal for Karmine Corp. I don't think could have been anyone better than these three finishing the game. And again, you see the silent force that Rekkles always is, putting down the damage, doing his job. 33k damage on this one. Incredible job by all of them.
X7 wanted to play into late game, but that's also Rekkles' game. Rekkles, for as long as he is being a player, everyone knows Rekkles is like the late game carry.
I think he's a very promising rookie, and that in this Masters he can show his real potential and maybe go to the LEC.
Yeah, I feel like, he's definitely got the potential to get there.
Yeah.
Still got a few things to work on. But yeah, jokes aside, X7, sure they lost. There were moments of greatness potentially there. KC, it looks like they shored up a lot of their issues that they had both in play-ins and week one of the group stages. This looks like a vastly improved team. Great picks and bans, I think, is also a good thing to note. Is their picks and bans in this game and in today they've been very good at drafting comps that they understand how to play, which is actually something at the beginning of the R-casts I said, X7 are amazing at drafting comps and then understanding how to play those comps. KC, today it was them. They were the team that knew how to play their comps out perfectly, and while Tempt was definitely a thorn in the side for them, that one pick just spelt disaster for X7. Karmine Corp, the defending champions, back-to-back of the Amazon European
By
Masters
the way,
are able to make it first out of Group B.
before we take that gold graph away, since 15 minutes, there's been an almost 10k gold lead. From these 15 minutes until 42 minutes, it's been pretty much the same gold lead. That's how close this game was. And that's how good actually X7 can play team fights later on. And they made Casey struggle and sweat for it, which was actually really good to see. Obviously, again, congratulations to Casey for getting that first seed. They played fantastically. And again, I have to commend SAKEN. He played out of his mind today.
SAKEN had a phenomenal day. I actually also think 113, while in other games he looked a little bit lost, I think it's fair to say, in all of the games versus X7, actually what lost is a little disingenuous. He didn't have the same kind of like top tier performance versus these other teams, but versus X7, he just had Haru's number. Maybe Haru was kind of disrespecting Karmine in both of their games, but 113 just honestly had his number and was just walking completely over him. It was phenomenal from him.
I think that was his game as well, the way he was dodging around and the way he was actually creating the opportunities to fight for his team. We said how he's a very aggressive jungler. Haru is a very aggressive jungler as well. He managed to shut him down every single time Haru tried to make a play. And I think that shows very well when you have the veterans and you have the rookie in the team and the rookie creates the opportunities for you. It's something that you look forward to. Yeah,
absolutely. I believe we actually do have an interview standing by, if not ready. I didn't hear exactly if it was, so if it is, let's bring it up. I believe it's 113, if I heard right, off our interview.
Hello.
There you go. It is.
It is 113. How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. You gave us an extra game and we had some pretty banging games. I want to talk a little bit about this game. Obviously, we'll talk about the group and everything later. I want to talk about this game in particular. You had a massive gold lead for the majority of this game, but kind of struggled to close it out. What was going on there?
I mean, it's like we give 2 directs to enemy team, so we don't have sole win condition. And after some point, we got almost all tier 2s, expect top tier 2. So there was nothing to pressure. And yeah, that was about it. Like we give 2 directs to get a gold lead and we snowballed. Through that, we could do Nesh, but they have LeBlanc, Malphite, Rakan, Jarvan, MF, especially MF ulti in Nesh pit is so strong. So we struggled in that, I think. And after we started stacking directs, we had a win condition and we could close the game out.
Absolutely, and honestly, I want to commend you on today's performance as well, going 3-0. I think that was one for the books. You actually guys showed how dominant you are. Obviously, joining a team that are the back-to-back champions, I think a lot is expected from you. And the first week was not the same. Can you give us a little bit of an insight on what happened between week 1 and week 2?
I mean, week 1, in Masters, right? In Masters week 1.
Yeah.
Okay, in week 1, our coach thought we could get more practice by Tiebreaker, so he entered the draft against X7, and we insta lost. And yeah, we got to practice more. It's like, I think our first game was against X7 in E-Masters, and we got a reality check. Like we saw that the gap between us and other regions are not that far, like they are close to us. So we got to work harder and work smarter, and that helped us a lot, I think. And yeah, after the reality check, we smashed everyone.
Real quickly, before we jump off, I want to ask you, getting into this team, playing with like veterans like, you know, SAKEN, Cabo, Rekkles, and you coming in as the rookie, you dictating a lot of the pace of the game, especially since you're playing very aggressive. Is there a lot of things that these guys have like taught you or showed you in the game?
I mean, we are discussing all the time in scrims and officials about positions. Of course, like they are helping me a lot, especially in mid-late game. They are trying to pick me up. We are discussing ideas and plays, and it's helping me a lot. Like I'm learning so much by them.
Nice.
Awesome. 113, congratulations on making it first out of this group. It was, you know, maybe a little bit harder than it needed to be, but you were able to find that win. Congratulations and good luck in your playoff games. We'll speak to you later, all right?
Thank you. See you later. Bye.
See you later, mate.
Okay,
Alrighty.
I love it when everyone waves, honestly.
Yeah, everyone. Bye-bye. We're not going yet, by the way. Let's have a quick look at the standings and see where everything falls after today's matches. Obviously, we've had now 2 groups finished up in the qualifiers. So, at the top of Group B is Karmine Corp and X7. Not XL, they didn't make it.
Sad.
X7. We're in Group D. LDLC are undefeated, 6-0, and they did make it out of their group. Then it is Unicorns of Love, the Sexy Edition, who made it second out of Group D. We still have Group A, and we still have Group C to go. And that leads me on to tomorrow's games, which are going to be our Group C games. We'll be finding out who will be making it out of Group C. If we bring up the schedule, we can have a look at the 6 games we've got coming up, and potentially tiebreakers. I think we probably will see tiebreakers in this group. We're starting with Bifrost versus Fnatic,
banger.
Team Esker versus BDS, Fnatic taking on Team Esker, BDS versus Bifrost, Bifrost versus Esker, and at the end of the day, with BDS versus Fnatic. This is the banger group. Let's be real. Group C is the group of death. So those games will be starting at 5 o'clock European time, 4 o'clock for all of you over in Britain like me. But yeah, it's honestly going to be a good day. Tomorrow's going to be a really, really good day. I'm going to ask you, Trouble, before we close off, who's making that out of Group C?
I'm not going to say because apparently I curse my predictions. So I'm just going to keep it neutral here and say that I truly believe that this particular group is the biggest free-for-all for every team in that one. So I think, honestly, any team out of the 4 can actually come out.
I think even if you are avoiding curses, this is actually a very hard group to call. I think this is an incredibly hard group to call. It's honestly going to be a must-watch.
I would
tomorrow.
at least say that I would be very surprised if Fnatic TQ do not make it out of the group.
Yeah,
especially since they are tournament favorites to win it all.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the other 3, it's so tight. I genuinely think the other 3 is incredibly tight. It's going to be a really good day. I'm not going to curse it as well because I did a bit of cursing myself today. But yeah, I think we're actually in for a real banger day. So make sure you tune in 5 o'clock tomorrow on the same place, twitch.tv/EU Masters. And tomorrow we'll be back with Group C's games. But that is all for today on the Amazon EU Masters. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for Group C.
Bye-bye.